Hello everyone, let's start to play these games. Today I will play a rapid game and explain you more, okay? Let's wait for the opponent and play. Can we play French defense? Okay, he's closing on e5. Let's try to pressure this pawn on d4. Bishop e7, I don't want to try that because that's protecting these really good dark squares for him. And because he's overprotecting, he can jump with his knight or some other pieces. So let's defend that. f6, f6, and after this trade, not sure, but a6 will be a little bit weak. So what if bishop b7, and I will try to go c5, because if I trade this d4 pawn, e5 will be weakness for him, okay? I would like to bring my knight back. Okay, b8, just for preparing for c5. c5, he takes. Okay, let's do that. We can take even with a pawn. Bishop is protecting. No problem. Just let's not lose our a really good pawn structure there. Well, we will trade, and if it's not, just I will try to pressure d4 more and take this pawn, okay? Even I'm trying to open this bishop diagonal. And f6 I can play, just I'm a little bit worried about if we trade. Just when e5 will be open, e6 will be weakness for me. Somehow that's a little bit hard for defend. And there is move c4, and I'm cutting his bishop from that d3 square. Otherwise he could try to create this diagonal. Well, let's take, and now our pawn is really good. Bishop c6, okay. Let's kick the queen out from that a4 square. And what should I play? If a5 square isn't been defended, I will go there, and c3 is a very weak. Can I just go and take that? I think not, that should be a little bit hard for defend. Even I think he needs some piece disactivation for that. Okay, I would like to bring my queen on that game, but not sure. Just everything is defended. Queen d7, his queen is doing a great job here, I will say. So I would like to trade, and I will bring the knight on d7 there. I will take, and that's still not unclear how can I continue this attack. I'm trying to bring this knight. D7, let's see that free square. Okay, I think we can take. Just if it's not, he will force my knight to go back and take the bishop if we trade. Where should I go? Probably a8. Because b8, if I try to get this b file, and his rook can go there because the knight is actually defending. So rook a8. Can I go right away or not? I think I can, because if he takes my queen, I will take his queen and c3 will be hang. I am forcing him to defend that. And if he tries to even defend c3 after this trade, his rook will be hang on b7. So let's think about that. Okay, he's doing great. So we are even getting this a file, okay? Now this is really good for me. I will try to bring this pawn on h6. I will try to overprotect this g5. And then probably go my knight forward. I can even try to bring my piece on that b3 square. Squares are really good for me, you know. If he goes g4, just, I'm not sure, that should be overextend. Or good move. I don't know. Just I have e7. Not bad, and then in the future probably knight g6. Not sure why he played that. Probably he's trying to g4. Or just go king h2 if it somehow needs. I will try to bring, what should I play? Knight closer, okay. And try to attack this c3, because if he lost c3 pawn, I think he will lose that pawn structure. The main defender is this pawn. Okay, the knight he's trying to go f4. So f4. What should I play? I don't know, I will try to attack on queenside, and somehow if he plays f4, just f5 can't be, because if I will be hang, okay, he's trying to bring another knight into the game, but there is no square that his knight can jump. So, but I'm a little bit worried about that. This just, I think, not work, because rook a1 that should be pin. I need to get out my queen from this a file probably. Just this b file will be open for me, so I can jump with the queen, okay? I'm trying to attack on c3 and take that pawn, because if it lose, just this pawn structure gonna lose after that. I don't need to trade, because if I trade, his queen will be on c2 and h7 will be unprotected. I will try to block this position with g6, and he has a dark square bishop. I'm really happy to see that. Knight a4, rook a1 and queen b7. The difference is that now I can bring the queen on the rank. Okay. g6, probably he can sacrifice, but if I bring my knight on b6, for example, and that 7th rank will be open, I don't think he can do anything there, right? Okay, he sacrifice. And because we are up a figure, he sacrificed that. But I don't think that will work or not. Just I will try to trade his active pieces. I'm not sure, can I or not? Just h4? Okay, one like that. The knight forward, e6 will be hang. But I believe if he takes on e6 that should be blunder because queen f7, I will fork the knights and somehow they can't defend each other. Okay, he isn't taking. I will be up a pawn after this trade. c3 will be hang. Okay, let's do that. And now, after this trade, I will threaten knight e2 check and take his queen. Let's see how he can respond this move. So that's with a check. I have a bishop against his two pawns, but that's not easy to win. Because his pawns are getting closer to my king and becoming a new queen. That square is overprotected by me, so let's jump there. So bishop is doing great job. I will try to push this pawn and distract him because he will try to push these kingside pawns forward and make some trouble. Can I take or not? I think I need to not blunder my pawn structure, which is doing a really great job there. Queen a5 can be moved. And if queen b7, just what should he play? I'm not sure. I will try check and try to trade the queens. My bishop just, I need 3 or 2 moves to bring it activity. So let's not think about that so much. I'm trying to trade the queens. Ah, okay, that's a check. And I will do that. Let's protect this pawn he's trying to take. And go closer with my king, try to take these pawns. Okay, he's trying to block my way. But anyway, I think if I have even sacrificed this pawn, I can go forward, right? Anyway. And I'm wondering to sacrifice this pawn. Bishop d1, h6 check. And I will defend this with my bishop, okay? Because there is a position that I can't make some advantage if not blunder my pawn. h6 check. King g6, okay? And I would like to bring this bishop on this diagonal. Okay, he's missing that probably. Because he can't pawn forward there, and I will kick his king and bring my king on g4, take these all the pawns and win this game, okay? That's why bishops are great. He just defended 3 pawns. Okay, there is nothing that will work in this position for him. So really good game played. What are you thinking about that? Okay, if you want to play, send me challenge. If I had just 1 pawn and a bishop, probably that's can be even draw. You know, a lot of positions being like that. Okay, I'm gonna take these pawns, and that's not clear what he's why he's playing. Okay, not the knight. Let's bring the king forward. If you don't know queen and king checkmate, see this. Okay, we won this game. Probably that's a little bit disrespectful that he didn't resign. Well, let's play another game. You can send me challenge if you want to play. How watch time limit do you want to see? Write in the comments. I will play in that time limit. Now I'm wondering 10-minute game. If you want to see blitz or bullet, say about that. I will play that. Okay, let's wait until next opponent. Hello chat. Show me good openings. Okay, I will do that. Let's play 3+2. My rating is a little bit low in that planes, but I believe not problem. Okay, I will try to play against Sicilian defense, which is very common. So probably that's opening you didn't see so much times. Just F4. McDonald attack, that's called. That's a really good opening when Sicilian players are trying to bring these queenside pawns and you are bringing kingside in activity. That's a really good opening, just grandmaster level, I will say, because that's not easy to play, you know. But anyway, I like that. I love this opening because it's opening f-file and being active your rook. Early rook attack, yes. What if this? Okay, g4, bishop g6. I will try to take this bishop because that's protecting f7 pawn. So I will take and queen f3. Okay. Castle I'm expecting. Because that should be a little bit hard for defend position like that. Probably f6 can be moved, but anyway. What should I play after that? Probably d3 to bring my knight, my bishop activity. And I would like to push this pawn forward to just have some advantage, okay? Now that can't happen. But anyway. Let's bring other pieces into the game, but that's under attack. We can... What we can... How can we defend? That's not unclear. I would like to bishop f4 and defend this pawn. But you know, I don't like to trade that bishop so early. Because in the future that should be a really good piece there. Queen a4, let's defend, not a problem. Knight d2, I will try to bring the knight on this king side. Because that should be in a really good position like that. Not g5 right away, but I will try to bring it there. He's wondering for pawn trade. The knight was hang, but anyway, if I will be hang, I don't like to open the center, because I'm trying to attack on kingside and his pieces is a little bit not doing great job in kingside. So that's not position that his pieces are doing on that king side, just center and queen side, like Sicilian players having that position. Okay, let's bring the knight. Just c4, d4 will be unprotected. I will jump there with my knight. But I don't think that he will do that just... Okay, he's trying to undouble his pawns, so I won't take. Let's attack on the knight. I am forcing him a move and my position is getting really good there. Just see I'm down a pawn, but his pawn structure in his king side isn't that good. And I will try to slowly bring the figures there and create some plans. Just put your rooks there where that open files, okay? So can I double my rooks, or if he takes, my bishop will be under attack. But I don't want to take that pawn to undouble his pawns and create passed pawn for him. Okay, he was wondering that. g5 won't work, the rook is defended. How I said, I will try to bring the knight on d4. Okay, now I can't. Let's take and d2, okay? c4 is under attack, I'm not sure he can protect that. Okay, that was really tricky move. Just my rook is under attack, okay? Can I defend that somehow? Okay, he could even take that. Very bad, my position was really great at the time. But anyway. Okay, let's start to play another one. I will play with another opening. Just when you are trying to improve your chess, learn endgame first, not opening. Just I learned opening for fun, you know. When you are playing good chess, just that's very hard to trick you in the opening. Okay, I have another really good opening. French Sicilian defense. So as black you are being in a really good center. The pawn is under attack. And bishop b4 this time because the knight is defending the pawn, so I will say I'm forcing him dead. Because bishop d3 just... I'm not sure. Let's take the knight because I'm damaging his queenside pawns. And castle, okay? If he takes, I will trade and d5 should be moved. To even think about this light square bishop, which still isn't doing anything, but I will bring it on active square. I would like to take with a knight and attack on his bishop, but anyway, I think he takes d5. If he somehow takes, should be better way to open even this light square bishop. Okay, I need to just destroy that pawn structure. Or c5, c4. Yes, I will do that because somehow see just queen h5 I'm expecting try to mate somehow on that h7, so there can't be any square that he can't jump with his bishop and make some advantage. So I would like to go c4 to kick that and probably f6 to destroy this pawn structure and even try to attack on c3 weak pawn. That should be hard for defend, you know. Okay, I will take with a knight. Just if I take, I would like to bring the bishop, and after this trade my rooks will be connected, so I will take with a rook back, okay? I won't be pawn up, just let's trade. And this bishop even protecting this big pawns. Just I would like to trade the bishop. Knight c4 or not? Think not yet. Okay, that's really good time to get out from this because e6 was unprotected. Okay, he's trying to mate. If I move the bishop, just f7 check, and I will mismate there. Let's go h6. If he checks, just I will have that free square. So after that, I will try to bring my bishop out. Probably after defending the rook on b8. Okay, that was under attack too, right? Well, let's defend and probably bishop d7. Try to bring the rook on second rank. Okay, g2 under attack, my queen is under attack. Probably I could take this, but just not clear, you know? Okay, no problem, let's play Queen's Gambit this time. Okay, England Gambit we have. I don't need to defend just a4 because if you try to overprotect that pawn to be up a pawn, just there is some trick. A really good opening for that, bishop b4 check, and when he's taking your queen, that should be the idea, you know? That's a really famous opening trap. Let's go bishop e2, and if he takes, just my pawns wouldn't be double there. I think the knight in this position is really good than the bishop. That's why he's not trying to trade. But anyway, g4 somehow defend that square, okay? He can't jump just. Knight c4. There are some positions that I like to trade this bishop with his knight or bishop just to open my rook because my pawns will be so bad on that center. I'm afraid c4 and now I'm defending that to not take my bishop. Rook d1. Okay, really good d-file. What should I play? Okay, everything is defended. I think that's the right time to double my rooks. Still I can't take anything from there, but anyway, I will try to pressure probably rook d1 and try to take the knight, because if he takes with a bishop, d6 will be hang. Why he did that? My bishop was very destructive there, but I'm not sure why he took. I can't take, so a5. Just a5. e4 will be so much protected. I can't make advantage from there, right? But I think he will gonna lose that pawn. Okay, after this trade, okay, the knight was defending that pawn. So because it's not, let's go a3 and rook d1. I think rook d7 or rook d6 will save his position to bring rook d8 another time. Because if it's not, how can he defend this d5 square? I think he can't. Knight d7 can be moved to try to rook d2 to protect d5 pawn. Somehow he can defend, right? That's gonna lost. Queen b5 probably to, after this trade, b2 will be hanged, so If I were black, I will play it. Okay, he's doing that. Before, probably. Okay, just queen a4 can be moved because he can't protect. Just that's the rule of chess. When you can't protect, just attack. Okay, he's doing that. Not sure. I will be up a pawn even like that or not. Okay, c3 will be hang even. And... okay, let's trade the bishop take with the rook. And this should be pawn trade, but central pawns are doing great job, that side pawns. Just when that past pawns. Just you need to keep that side pawns because they are far from the king. That's why. Okay, let's attack on his rook and take this pawn, right? I believe rook a8 should be only move. If I check, trade and he's check. Okay, that should be okay because if he has a dark square bishop and even the queen, but the queen, I don't think, what is he doing there? Don't take the pawn, that's a trade. Okay, that's a trade, but his central pawn was really good, so I would like to trade that because d file is open for me. So that's why I like that move. Let's go rook back. Just somehow you need to trade if you see that your position will be better after all that. Okay, late, but I think that's okay. I like my position and see, that was pawn trade, but his queen isn't doing anything, just deactivate. It needs to bring some moves to protect or make some advantage. Okay, if I check, g7, bishop here. Okay, that should be mate. See? I can do even pre-moves, like I'm sure king g8 or h8 and bishop h6. Really good mate. Okay. What are you thinking about that? 3 or 4 moves? Mate idea. Okay, let's show you Scandinavian defense. Just queen a5, I like that. I don't like to go back, you know. Just let's bring queenside figures forward and long castle. That's early attack. d5 won't work. Just castle and his queen will be under attack, so he can't take it that time. That's the typical Scandinavian defense when you are not seeing that kingside, and queenside is really doing great job there. Okay, no problem, just let's take and a5, okay? Okay, the knight is still under attack. What if I take and a5? Is it gonna work or not? Okay, let's sacrifice the knight and play at a5 because the knight was under attack. So if he takes that pawn, not the pawn, the knight on c6, my pawns will be damaged there. And that should be really easy to play against black position like that. So how I said, he lost his bishop. If I pawn take, just knight will be on a4. So let's kick the queen one time, and even we have just 2 moves to bring the rook back and double that, okay? Bishop b4 or c5 or d6. This pawn is hang. Ah, no, sorry, not hang, but after bishop c5 will be hang. Can I try to trick him or not? Because if he takes the pawn, I can't check and take his queen. But rook d1 probably will take the rook, and that should be open check. Hey, can I play against you? Okay, you can. Can you wait after I will finish this game and send me challenge, okay? If he takes a rook d1 or not. Okay, very good. Rook d1, if he takes check and his queen will be lost. With queen d1, he has even f5 check, but no difference, you know. My username is Athenian. Wait until I will write that in the chat. Okay, that's my username. I'm completely sacrificing the rook, but if he takes, I have bishop f2 check and he will lose his queen. Not a problem, he check, but even on f5, that's unprotected, okay? So I will take that anyway. That should be trade, just queen against bishop and rook. That's why he's not taking. Really crazy idea, what are you thinking about that? Even f2 is hang. Okay, let's not hang the queen, I was kidding. And what if bring the rook or bishop before? I don't need to do that right away, so let's bring the rook on d8. There is a little bit difference against that e8 and d8, because in e8 just e2 will be defended and I couldn't get his second rank, but even after the queen trade, because that's a little bit tricky in that back rank, you know? Rook d2 and that second rank will be mine. If I take the knight, just the knight is defending kingside really good, so I don't want to trade. But I have to or not? Okay, let's take, no problem. Mate threat on b6. Let's defend, and now we are over-pressuring f2 pawn. So I didn't just defend, I just went there and over-pressuring his pawns, and now he can't defend. d5 takes, that's a little bit risky from him. Mine is... Ah, okay. I will fund you and send you challenge. Just be sure you are on chess.com, okay? Bishop d4 if he takes the pawn. Or not. Just his pawn will be hang, rook b1. And what should we play? I would like to bring my rook on h8. Probably I can even try to sacrifice somehow, because I have dark square advantage there. Just that should be really tricky. How can I do that? b2 is hang, I will take with my queen. Boba Fischer. Yes. Bobby Fischer is returned. Let's attack on his rook. Rook d1, probably, or a1. Because from a1 he will try to mate, which he's doing. Oh, I'm not sure what should I play. He's threatening mate and my bishop. What should I play? Oh, very bad. Just if my queen were in a c3 square, bishop f6 could be moved, which will save my position, you know? Let's still not resign. C7 is saying, but I will check and see. Because his bishop is doing great job, great protectively job here, you know. Not attacking so much. But anyway, let's try to get something from this. Okay, d6. Just, that's an interesting position a little bit. I will try to go g3 and we will see, okay? But how can I get that? Okay. That was tricky, you know? No problem. Okay, I have a challenge, Lance. Let's find you. Okay, I found you. I think you are from Philippines, okay? Be ready, I'm sending you challenge. How much loader? Okay, I sent you. Be sure you are accepting and let's play. Okay, 400 elo. Let's start. Not that bad elo, you know? But anyway. We will try to play a little bit aggressive. Just f4, Vienna Gambit, okay? We will play Vienna Gambit, if not Bishop c5. Okay, I don't like to open this, but I promised to show you this. Just even the knight can't defend, because if I take, from d4 will be pin. And even queen h4 won't work. Okay, he's also playing really aggressive, so I'm really afraid from this. Can we take the pawn or not? Or we need to bring that knight? Okay, if I take, that pawns will be hanged, so he will take from 4 or 5 moves, I'm not sure. I think that's the right time to take, because d4 is overprotected from me. I will play d4 and e5 will be defended after that, but in the past that won't be. He is missing the bishop and the knight. But what figure should I take? Just if I take the knight, queen a7, I think that shouldn't be just winning for me, or not. Okay, queen a7, I will take the bishop, and my knight will be pinned after he will check. But not a problem, because queen a2 he can't take, because that's where protected, so let's check him from h5 and g6. We will sacrifice the knight. Very common mistake, and from f7 he wants mate, okay? Very well played. Let's start to play another one. GG, bro. You also played well, but you need to see one moves ahead to not blunder anything. And you need to see about even mates, you know? Well, you know, not bad. Even 400 rated players are just shuffling pieces and losing so much. Mathiel there, but he didn't lose, he just played 15 moves and lost only one piece. That's not that bad, you know. Okay, but I did know, I just wanted to play blitz game and how that's happened. Well, 3 plus 2, okay. Which time limit do you want to see in my games? I'm only like 500. I'm sure you would beat me just as bad. Okay, probably. No problem, if you want to play, I will play with you too. Just that's educational channel, you know? I don't think I'm bad, I don't think I'm good, I think I'm about middle to lower mid. Yes, bro, you are middle, but how much you are playing chess? Probably some months. Because I know you have some understanding about chess. But you need to experience, you know, because you brought your pieces on very active square and that was overextended for your position. That's why probably you lost. Like only sometimes. Okay, how I say it. You can get really good career about chess. That's not easy to play a solo time and bring 400 rated elo, because you are up about 40 or 50% from chess players. Okay, let's go b4 because I'm trying to bring bishop on d3 and have this diagonal. The difference will be that d3 is now protected. Okay, he's creating really good figure structure there. I would play one if you are down. Oh, okay. I would like to bring my bishop on b2 and hit on g2. Follow my channel, don't forget about that. Do not lose my streams and play with me, okay? Okay, don't take my bishop. He took just... I was trying to keep this on that diagonal and force him to mate from g7. Just that should be not easy to defend, you know? Okay, don't take the knight, just don't disturb me, I'm trying to mate you. Okay. In my position, I like that my rooks are connected, which we can't say about his position. So... Okay, this bishop would do great job, but I'm going to trade this. Okay, and because we are going endgame, the rooks are really great figures. Because when you have so much open squares, just when you are playing with the knight, you need to close squares, you know? That's why rooks are really good pieces in that even end games. Wow, bro, you are very good at this game. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Queen a5, yes? Just when you are moving a piece, be sure that opponent can't take or kick that, because if opponents kick your figures, there are really good chance that he will activate his pieces and your pieces would go back to defend. So I am trying to sacrifice the rook on d7. If he takes, a6 will be hack and only move that will defend the rook will be rook f7, but knight a5. That's gonna work, yes? Let's take e6. If that works, you have to follow my channel. Because for that really good sacrifice. Just that should be only move that will temporarily defend that. Even that should be not bad position, just I took a pawn from there. If it defends with the knight, I'm not sure what will happen. Ah, okay, what is missing? I was fought knight d6 to not being made in 2 moves. But from f8, that's made. Okay, he's trying to rematch, let's play. c5 can be a move, you know, he can't take, just if he takes, I will take with my bishop and that's not easy to defend. So he has one pawn in the center and I have to, that's why I have a little bit advantage. And What can I play? I could play even knight b6, but I would knight a5 because that's protecting, that's really good d4 square. So bishop e7 and castle. I like my position because I like when my rooks are open on this diagonal. So his bishop isn't doing anything, he's just blocked. I can think that after that trade that should be double pawns for him, but even I don't need that, you know. Just let's trade with the knight and see. Queen b6, b2 will be hang. Or d6. Or d5. I have so many moves that I can play. Just, I'm not sure. d5 he can even take with en passant. That probably will open a file, but anyway, just the pawn on d7 is blocking my left square bishop. But somehow he can try to activate his bishop. I'm not sure he's completely giving it for me or not. If I take bishop h7 check, I will take his bishop and the knight. He's trying really good, but his knight will be under attack after that, you know? That's why he went back. Okay, you see, he saw that very late and he sacrificed the pawn for no reason, we will say. My pawn structure isn't that good, but I'm up a pawn, let's don't forget about that. Just bishop c5, I can try to use this pawn and try to make a new queen. Let's don't forget this pawn is active there and probably he can try to do something about that. Probably he can push now. That's a little bit hard, let's check and bring another rook into the game. I could even bring rook a8, but because that's still active and even this f6 square is defended from that pawn. Let's just bring rook on a8. Bishop d4 will work or not. Just rook a1 and I can't take, okay. This isn't even hang. So he's trying to go f6. So let's defend because after f6 this pawn will be under attack. Really hard position. Okay, e6 can be moved. What should I play after that? Probably bishop f6 to defend his pawn from a7. And the thing that I will try to do a5. Probably I need to trade the bishops because his bishop is defending f5 and in the future that will be defended. What if I take? Okay, I'm not sure, still I can't take anything from his position, just queen g5. Why he played that? Okay, probably to defend another pawn in his position. I would be happy even if he trade that pawn. I will take with a rook and this 7th rank will be protected in my king's side. So let's see what he will gonna play. Okay, I knew that won't be so easy. Just a7 is on h7 under attack. Queen g6 can be moved after that. What should I play? He will sacrifice the bishop there. And bishop f4, okay. I'm almost sure he will play that. Well. h6 check. Ah, okay. Not bad played, but his pawns were doing a great job there. Probably that's why I lost that. Because that's why you need to keep your pawns don't shuffle that. And not because all about that. How you know central pawns are really dangerous in that middle game. I won't say in the end game, because in the end game you can just use these your side pawns, which will be very far from the king, which we can say about central pawns in the end games. But when we are speaking about middle game, the central pawns are crazy good pieces, I will say. a5? Okay, let's do it, because probably I can try queen a4. This diagonal is very bad protected from him. Let's take this pawn or not. Okay, I'm opening a file, so I can bring the rook. Okay. Probably knight a5. I don't need to take the bishop. I will activate his knight automatically. Let's pressure and force him to take, which he is doing. And with a rook, okay? Let's went back, probably a2, because this diagonal is open, so I can jump with my queen on there. Okay, rook is under attack. And queen d3. I'm trying to attack on this h7. Okay, somehow he's attacking on my pieces, but if he plays h6, I think I will sacrifice the bishop, because my pieces is doing great job there. And I will go closer with my knight. Just I don't know why he's going that pawns forward, because if I'm trying to do something in that king side, he need to just attack on center or queen side, or just defend that king side. Can I play? Well, what's your username? Say your username, and I will be sure that I'm playing with you, and send me challenge, okay? I think you sent me friend request, but there is 2 people that did it. Let's bring another rook. Probably try to attack on a6. Okay. Can you wait until I will finish this game and send me challenge? f4 or not? I'm trying to break this pawn chain, but somehow, you know, my bishop is doing really good job in that dark squares, but that's not that much easy to break that. Probably queen a5, but because that's still defended by his rook and queen, that's not easy to break. If I take, I can't, okay? Queen a5. Okay, he's trying to trade because he knows that his pieces is a little bit destructive than mine. So he will be happy to see that, but I won't do that. Rook f3. Okay, if I take, my pawn structure will be destroyed. But am I have to or not? I think that should be the right idea. f4? Okay, let's go f4 to defend this pawn, not give it to him. Ah, okay. He wanted to take that very much time, and finally he did. But that's not about I will take his pawn. I will take that almost sure, but the only thing that I'm trying to go rook c7, and that should be losing for him if he let me go there, you know. 7th rank will be overprotected from me, and I will try to win that. That's why he didn't take this pawn on a2 and go back to defend c7 pawn. Okay, he's giving it to me probably because a7 now can't work from me. I'm almost sure that's why he did that. Okay, what should I play? That's still not unclear. How can I move my pieces in his king side and take some advantage? Rook a6, why not? Just I'm trying to create some attacking plans, and his rook went back to defend that. Okay, that's called forcing moves, and you need to do that. To make really good advantage, I am deactivating his pieces over there. Okay. Just d6, that was mouse click. Trying to go d6 and push my pawn on a4. Just let's continue to play. Okay, that's not hang, but I'm forcing his queen beyond that 7th rank. He's trying to check with his rook and bring the queen. And he's forcing me queen trade, which I don't like. Okay. The chess noob Arthur. Okay, that's your username. I am sending you challenge. Okay, that's still not challenge and you're not in the game probably. Okay, be sure you are sending me challenge, okay? I didn't found you. And my opponent deactivate or not? Well, still I haven't challenged, but if anyone wants to play, send me. a4, let's open with... Oh, okay, we have Caro-Kann defense. Let's play Alien Gambit. Okay, I did... probably you disconnected, bro, or not. I didn't find you. Okay, we have Merchant Gambit. If I take, that should be winning. I saw that position much times, but Queen f3, I'm not that sure. Let's say should be blunder, bishop f7, just how can I do that? And probably bishop a2 and h5 or not? Not sure. Okay, let's take and bishop h5 check. We can't even trade. Just he can't castle, you know? He's king in the middle and so on. Let's bring the rook on g-file. That's not easy to bring activity that pieces. Rook g3. His bishop isn't doing anything there, which I'm happy to see. Because these pawns are blocking this. Okay, let's bring the rook and we will see. Yes, the bishop is deactivating, but he's defending g7 very well. Only that I don't like in his position. Bishop d2 and rook f1 or e1. If I go e1 I can take the pawn from there, but that should be with a trade which I don't like. Probably he's trying to push that pawn forward, so let's overprotect g5. So if he goes, he will lose anything there, you know. Okay, I sacrificed, like, that was Merchant Gambit, like, I tried Alien Gambit, but I sacrificed the knight on e6. Now we have this position. I was trying to challenge, but it glitched. Okay, I was trying to send you challenge, but I didn't find you. You didn't online. Probably you disconnected, right? Let's go c4 or not. I will blunder this pawn, but bishop c3. I think we'll do great job. Still, I'm not sure, but I have that feelings. The knight is under attack. Okay. We accidentally did that, and his position is really crossed. How can I break that? Okay, Arthur, send me challenge. The chess. Okay, I found your chess.com account, so I'm sending you challenge. Be ready for play. Okay, I sent you accept and let's play. Okay, Sicilian defense this time. Probably with French variation, okay? I like that opening. Okay, I can take bishop d3 and that much good idea. Because you're moving bishop 2 times and also, oh not 2, 3, I will say 3 times. And finally I am taking, my opponent can't castle. And I have really good position there. Okay, his bishop is really strong, so I can't go a5 to activate my bishop on c8. But anyway, b6 and bishop b7 also can be ideal. This diagonal is open. So knight b4. Okay, this the file is overprotected from him. Let's try to get straight there. Okay, even I don't need to take. My bishop isn't doing anything. f6. Let's see if he can see that a5 move or not. That will kick my bishop and force me to go back. Okay, he's playing very well as 400 rated player. I would like to go f6 and trade this pawn, but a6 will be hang. So what are you thinking about knight d4? Because after this trade I would have this strong pawn. Okay, that should be isolated, because this pawn can't help that pawn, and not sure. I could even take with a pawn, but I think with the rook should be okay, because now that fourth rank is mine, I will say. I forced him to take, and I don't know. Rook c8, just he will defend this c2 pawn, that shouldn't be trade, and he missed that. Or not just a4, but even after this trade, his pawn structure will be a little bit weak, because for that, you know, double pawns. c2 is hang. Rook a2 can be moved, but h4 is hang, so I'm forcing to defend one that pawn. I would like if it defends h4 and give it me that c2 pawn, because if I went there just second rank, my rook will take all that pawns and then b5, because for that weaknesses. Okay, I'm up a pawn only, that's 25th move of the game, but he's playing really good, you know, as 400 rated player. How can that happen? He is forcing me some moves, you see? I don't know even I need to trade or not. Okay, he knows that he don't need to defend his pawns and deactivate his figures. That's because why he tried to attack, which is really great idea. Let's play g5 and force his bishop to go back. Probably I can try to defend this pawn somehow and attack this pawn on a5 or not. Just time up one pawn in that king side. So on queen side, that's my pawns should be just trade and just not good for me, you know. That's why I can bring the king, and that's the endgame tactic you need to know. Where you are up a pawn, you need to attack like that on the diagonal, okay? That should be trade, but he will take this and then. Not sure even if I need to take or not. Okay, I will try to trade the bishop because his bishop is doing really great defended job. So what if I take and hang a7, but his pawn structure, because a little bit weak, I will force him to trade some. Okay, he played great to take this pawn because after bishop traded and a7 would be hanged, so after that he can take f7. That's the idea probably. That should be first mistake from him, but he played very well, you know. Even I missed that h5 move, but if he saw that that will continue, just I would be some trouble there. King g2, okay, if I move my bishop back, just f5 I will give to him. So because I didn't like that, just g3 when pawn move, and my pawn is very close to be queen. Rook h7 can be played because that's forcing to keep my rook on that 7th rank. And even don't need to defend c4 pawn, because if I take c4 after rook h7, he will bulldoze my that 7th rank pawns, and I will have some isolated pawns. That's why I don't like that, but I think I will be up a pawn after this, and even if it takes rook c2 or not. Rook c2, let's think about that. Bishop, for example, before open check, and I should be make a new queen there. So that's really nice. He can't check. F7 pawn is hero for this day. Rook d7 also can work, because if he moves the bishop open check, and I will make a new queen, so he blundered that. King h1 will lose immediately, so king f1. I'm doing this pre-move. And mate in 1. Okay, I saw that position probably six moves ago after this. That was great, right? Okay, I like c3 in this move because I will say that's blocking the bishop from a1 or b2. Really great opening there. How can he be just 400 rated player? Just he can't kick the bishop. g5 will be overextended for his position. I don't think he will do that, but anyway. Let's take. Okay, and now he can't castle. I will lose. I will use that as advantage. d5. Not sure what should I play. Just because his knight is pinned with his queen, probably he can take somehow the bishop first. Let's think about that. I'm not sure, but that should be right. If he takes the bishop first, he will lose a pawn. Even he could take the bishop, because after that my queen will be under attack. So his rook is under attack, and I'm trying to play rook a1. Okay, he was almost blunder mate in one, but because his knight can jump back, you know. I would like to attack on his knight. Just how can I make that? Queen a8 check, knight b8. Just knight e5, okay? But he will take with a bishop. That's why I think that I don't need to take even this pawn. But king d7, I think knight will be very well defended. So let's not take a risk, and because now I can take, let's take knight a5. Because if I go this knight in the right way, that should be trade, but I like to bring my knight on e5 and keep it. f7 is threat, and if queen goes back, just c6 will be threat. I will create so much threats in this position. Can we sacrifice? I believe we can. Just because a2 will be hang, I'm not sure. I thought a little bit about this, but his bishop is hang. Really good knight sacrifice. And now I'm gonna take kingside pawns. I'm up 3 pawns, okay? Takes b2, that should be overextended. Queen e6 check. I will force his king to not be on that really defended position, because the knight and rook is doing great job. Or what if knight a5, try to overpressure the knight. If I take, he will take with a rook, so rook a1 check. I think his rook will be lost, but the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about this backrec checkmate. So I can't even take the that knight right away. My rook is hang. a1 is actually defended. Let's defend with a queen. Probably in the future we can just, I don't know, knight c6, and we will see. I would like to see my queen on a3 and fork this, because that should be a little bit hard to move his king. Even I will try to keep that on c rank and push that on the center, which his pieces won't do great job there for protect their king. Don't forget about follow my channel to not lose any stream, and play with me, okay? I can check on a8, king c7, but still I can't take the rook. I will lose mine, okay? But I have another idea. Just queen a7 and his knight will be hang. So he can't move there, so I can't take with a check. So that's really hard matter, because I would get back reg checkmate and his rook is hang. So I'm gonna trade the queens. That doesn't matter if I'm losing the knight, because I was even up a rook there, and that's mate. Okay, he played very well that opening and middle game. Just all happened because that end game. That's why you need to learn end games a little bit hard than opening, because some low rated players trying to learn openings because they are getting tricked. But if you play endgame really nicely, you can't just blunder all your openings, probably 5% or 3% endgames. Bro, you played very well, and also your first game when I played with you, that's a really nervous game for me. You know, you played that game really good. Just I want I didn't sure I will win or not at the time. But your last game, because for end game, that was a little bit problem for you. Can I track him or not? Okay, bishop is hang, but I have rook a8. Okay, I think I tricked him. Really good game. Okay, that's a pin, because if he takes the queen, I will take the rook. Can we play one next time worse than him? Not problem, bro. You can improve more than him. Not a problem. Just play more. And when you are playing with high-rated players, you are learning from them, okay? See, I tricked him and sacrificed the bishop. And that's just a trade, rook and bishop against the queen, but see how his position is really bad. Just I used the trap very much times, so I knew that even 6 moves later I will win that, okay? I will be happy if we trade and open the save file for my queen. Well, queen a4, because queen is a 9 points material, you can just use some attacks. I was trying to attack on d4, which is he gonna protect. That's really good move actually, because c2 is under attack. Knight a3 actually can happen. So defending this pawn, right? c3 will block this pawn, but I'm not sure. The knight just can't jump, but also this pawn chain would be very nice. And because opponent like me, because I have a queen, he needs to overprotect his position, because somehow I can try to open his kingside check and take some figures or pawns from his position. g2 is hang, but that's not easy to defend, you know. If g3, just I will check and take his rook. That's probably why rook a1. Okay, I won't say that when you have bishop and rook against the queen, that's completely losing. Not. That's not like that. That's about his position was very disactive, because when I had active knight and queen, his position closed just. I'm not sure you remember that position where he had 3 pieces next to them. Okay, that was accident. Chai Z real, okay? I think you sent me friend request, so I'm gonna send you challenge. Be sure you're on chess.com, and I'm gonna send you challenge. Okay, I sent. Accept and let's play. Are you here? Okay. Not that bad rating, because I have some subscribers that has only 100 rating. And that's also really hard for them to get some high rating. Knight c6. Okay, knight f6. If a5, probably you can think that he will kick the knight. But after d5, that should be just trade. a5, d5, bishop back. And at the time I can go knight back, okay? And that's about to c3 the knight on d7. Because a5, if I have to move the knight, that should be on on g8. That's why I need to create counterattack on d5. And can I go d5 or... Not yet. Let's just bring the knight, because somehow in the d5 he can try to take that with much pieces. So not a problem, because now I am creating this d4, and he has to take or go his bishop back, but he will lose the tempo there, you know. Okay, his bishop is under attack, and in the next move, how I said, that should be tricky. I waited until I will bring his my knight on c6. His bishop is under attack, and from d4 his another bishop and knight will be under attack. Okay, you saw, that's why you don't need to probably bring all that pieces in the same line. He's gonna lose one of that pieces, and that was really tricky. I saw some 2000 rated players missing that. That's not easy to see because you need to calculate 4 or 5 moves to see that position and not blunder anything. But anyway, that's not completely losing for him. Just c3 is hang after queen defense. I will bring the queen and win that, but he blundered his rook. I was trying to say that c4 won't work. Also, if it works somehow and his rook weren't under attack, just he's disactivating his bishop. The only way that he can get out from there, I think bishop a4, but anyway, what should he do in this position? And that's a pin he can't take, so I will not to take right away. I will bring my queen on f6, but he blunders his queen and the knight. I will try to mate probably rook a2 and from f2 weak square, okay? Probably rook a8, queen c3, not sure. There is so much moves I can do and win this. He took, if he moves that pawn just... Okay, and he even missed that. Not a problem. Let's send him rematch. Don't forget to subscribe my channel to not lose my streams. And play with me, okay? We will play Queen's Gambit this time. And probably we can continue with Catalan defense. g3, bishop g2. You know when you are completely sacrificing this pawn on c4. And the knight f6. Not a problem, I can sacrifice this pawn and take it after probably queen c2 and c4, or even, which will be the best, I think, knight d2 and knight c4, because when you have some knights, you need to keep that a little bit forward than your other pieces, you know? That's a really good idea. Positions like this. Knight f3. That pawn will be lost anyway. The only way that he can protect, bishop a6, then sword fork, because that will blunder after he will block these central pawns, which probably most players won't like. And the only way to defend is b5, but there should be really aggressive, because I would open this file and attack on his rook. Probably after rook a8, b5. That's a little bit risky yet, but anyway, he could actually try this if he's trying to take that pawn anyway. a3, okay. I could even try to go a4, but that will block my bishop, and because I will try to activate that bishop and not block, just a5, but on a5 my pawn will be a little bit, I'm not sure, hang, you know? That pawn would be hanged, that's why I didn't like that. So b3, when you are playing b3, important thing that you need to bring your bishop on b2, because if he somehow bring his bishop on g7, I will completely give that diagonal for him, which I don't need to do, okay? Let's take the bishop, he is losing a pawn, and even he won't lose, just that don't need, because his all his near kingside squares are defended. So still he can't castle, and there is trouble for him because bishop a3 from a7. I will try to mate. Can I take? He played a really good move because he's trying to trade the queens and castle, but I still don't like that. I will bring the bishop and okay, I will say not bad move. Just probably he missed that his rook is under attack, but because he attacked on my queen, okay, how I said, bishop a6 will save his position a little bit, because my bishop will be under attack, and even my queen. That should be a little bit hard for defend. Okay, bishop b7, that's just a trade, but after bishop a6, he will take that bishop completely. I would be up, not rook. Exchange, okay. And now I'm trying to take the knight to destroy his kingside, and just I need 3 moves to bring my rook on g5 and take a win from there. He probably saw that, but now I'm trying to mate from g7. Probably f6. Okay, he's missing mate in 1. That's why in that rating you need to see that 1 moves ahead. But he misses that. No problem, let's play another game. I would like to play 3+2 one more time. GG's, yeah, it's a lot easier than to think when I am normally play rapid games. Thanks for playing. Okay, you are playing rapid games. If you want, you can send me 1 game rapid. I will be happy to play with you. Not a problem. Thank you for playing too. Send me rapid if you want. Just yes, rapid is a really good then. Blitz, I think that too. Because you are trying to improve your calculation and memorization, but in blitz games that's not easy. You need to be as 1200 rated player too, and that time you can calculate things fast. And if it's not when you are down from 1800, I will recommend to play more rapid games, and you are doing right that you are playing that rapid. I'm sacrificing this pawn. Okay. He didn't even took that. Let's go f5 to kick his bishop from my king side, and if he takes c6, just rook c8, I will take his bishop right after that, which he's not taking, okay? That should be pin, and d5, even that won't work because that's protected from my pawn, and c5. I will go c5, and probably I will take with the knight to try even some open attacks on his queen. If the rook, just he will bring queen on d2 and rook c1, but I will try to distract like that. Okay, if I take the pawn, my pawn structure will be a little bit damaged, and he will has attack on that queen side. So let's create this nice pawn chain. Sure, I will play rapid, then I better go to bed after we play rapid, okay? Okay, no problem. After this game, we will play, okay? If you don't in a hurry. a2 is hang, so a3, a3, c3. I think I will try to open this queen side because here I'm up a pawn. I would be happy if we trade 2 pawns and this 1 pawn will lead to me win. He's up a pawn, but because that's about king side and in the center, that's not easy to create some attack there. But c3 let's destroy his pawn structure. If he takes, for sure he will lose a3 pawn because at the time he won't have attack on there for defend that pawn. But my pawn will be great job there. If I take, e6 will be hang, okay. Well, let's take. Okay, even that's not a mistake, but the knight is hang. What should I do after that? If I take the pawn, I'm not sure. My rook will be under attack after that. What if other rook d8? Queen b2 at that time. I'm not sure. Probably rook c3. Try to take pawn on a3. He took the knight first. I didn't think that need to do. Just because my knight isn't doing anything and isn't creating any threat. So when you're seeing that opponent's piece isn't in a really good position, and you don't need to take your with your active piece, just try to not do that. Okay, and my rook is a hyperactive in this position. I will take on e3. He's still defending. If I rook c3, just his queen will be a little bit closer. Can be this just a threat or not. Let's go with another rook because still I want to defend this f rank. But a3 will be hang anyway. So I will take with a rook or queen, I'm not sure. Probably with a rook because I'm trying to bring the pawn with helping with a queen. But if I take the pawn, knight g3 check, king h7, check from f8. That's why we need to take with a queen, you know? Because after check from f8 won't be check. I will protect this with 2 pieces, okay? Arminjan hayem. Bare wachberes. Let's go rook c1 and force him to trade. Okay, h3. I think we just need to push this pawn forward. Still he hasn't any threat. b3 and b2, just there is 3 squares that I will make a new queen there. Just knight g6 won't help him. King h7, the only way that he can try to make advantage. He could try to knight f8, but that should be defended. So b2 and b1, that should be unstoppable, and probably he will try to check from f7 and make a draw there. Just he's up a figure, but I will say that's not a winning for him. How he can defend this pawn? Ախպեր, ես սպրծնեմ ու challenge ուղարկի, հա? My rook is under attack. And what if I make new one there? Not sure, that should be a cool position, but I don't want that. Let's try to take. I'm trying to make a new queen there. Just rook b1, I will take the rook. Well, not a very bad position, but let's see. The knight is under attack and the pawn. Well, he's defending. Can we defend or not? But what should he play in this position? We can try to bring this pawn forward, like we did in that some moves before this. Knight g6. Still he hasn't any mate threat because my opponent bishop is really protectively positioned like that. Checks, okay. And king h8, because if I bring on h6, just bishop check, and that should be some trouble for me, you know. Okay, great job. Because g7 is now undefended. And I will lose on time, okay. Well, I lost. Armen ջան, ինչա չես կոմիտ անունը, դու ասա կամ էլ ինձ գտի ուղարկի, հա, challenge. Well, let's wait until next challenge and let's play. Just because I had so good position here. Just I don't think that should be losing for me. Probably queen a1 move shouldn't be mistake. Chase that. Okay. c5. Just, or we can even play like modern defense. Or king's Indian. That's very close to be. Hike back. Okay. Let's play g7 and bring this. Եղավ Արմեն ջան, այս խաղից հետո քեզ գտնեմ, մի քիչ սպասեցի, տեսա չուղարկեցիր, մի օք էլ կար challenge տվող։ Այսա մի քեզ ընկերներս լիստի մեջ ավելացնեմ։ Okay. Let's see what my opponent played. He was thinking so much in that third move. Okay, let's take. Probably I didn't need to take. I can't go bishop g7 right away. So knight f6, a5. Not sure. Yes, if you don't play a5, just bishop g7. If a5, I think I need to be worried about that a little bit. Okay, not. I think not, because a5, I don't need to run my knight. Just knight c6, okay? That should be attack on his queen. He needs to bring it back. Okay, let's do that. And he needs to don't hang this pawn after I will attack her. Okay, let's dragon. Well, ապրես ախպեր. We can castle there. And bishop g4. Okay, knight g4, attack on his bishop, right? There isn't any good square that I can go, but his bishop I think is a really good piece there. Just I will like to take that. Okay, we will take in the next move. Probably he could try to defend because this bishop was doing great job in my position. Let's castle to bring it safe. His position can be a little bit good, but anyway. Երկրորդ կարգ, լավ է երկրորդ կարգ, մի քիչ աշխատես առաջին հանես, հետո ռեյտինգ էլի։ Ես էլ առաջի կարգ եմ լավոր, բայց մի տուրնիր խաղամ 2000 ռեյտինգ կեղնեմ։ Okay, and a5 is under attack, he needs to protect, and if he's not, just my bishop will be open. He needs to block my bishop how much he can. Because if it hits on his king side, I will try to make some trouble for him, you know? Just if the knight, if I take, his pawn structure will be destroyed, but I think my bishop is really great to just destroy his pawn structure with trading. I would like to defend f4 and bishop f4 to pin this. But how can I do that? That's not clear, right? But if he takes with a rook, I don't think that should be that much easy. Or I can just trade to get some moves that will help me to bring another pieces into the game. Just if I try to activate my position, that should be a little bit hard when his position were so active and mine not. I'm up a pawn and this pawn is very weak, so I don't think he even needs to defend. Just he needs to try to bring his rook on b file or try to create another open positions there. Առաջի տեղով 8-ից 5 միավորով շատ լավ է, հատ ինչ հավասար պայքար ակնեմ, որ 8-ից 5 միավորով առաջի տեղ լուրջ մրցում է, հա։ Even bishop e6 can work, because if he moves his bishop, a7 will be under attack. Probably rook a8, I'm not sure. Or bishop f5, just bishop f5 will have so much attacks on there. Bishop e6 will block this pawn way, but even the rook's way. Okay, he's doing really great job, just bishop f3. He has attack on my b7, but also on a7. So after he will take rook b8 and rook c8. a2 is hang too, but I don't think I need to trade this pawn on a7 and then this pawn on a2. Okay, he's not even taking. Let's defend. Because if I lose this pawn on a7, this pawn on d6 will be hanging and isolated. That should be really hard for defend. We need to defend this pawn, and because his pawn structure isn't that good, probably he thinks to defend that. Okay, let's not hang a7. I will bring the rook on c7 and I will defend these pawns, which should be under attack. I will try to double my rooks and attack on his position, and at that time I can bring my bishop on active square, probably try to take this pawn, and a7 won't be under attack. Rook c8, these pawns will be some trouble. Okay, let's see how he went, and he defended on his position, but rook a1, just you don't need to defend that pawn with that way, you know? If I were right, I will bring the king and defend all this pawn structure, because that's really disactive his rook on a1. Let's bring b6 and then rook c4 to also get this fourth rank, try to take this pawn on g4 and so on. Just h3 he can defend, but because I'm trying to bring my pieces activity, even d5, d4 can be planned. So if he takes, I will get second rank, and when we are playing a spec, you need to get that for win that rook endgame. d5, d5, right? So I think a position like that he needs to defend c2. I will do that, okay? He's not threatening anything. Just he can sack the bishop for 2 pawns, but not sure that should be a great idea. I didn't know, I don't know what he's thinking about that. Just d4. Is this mate or not? Can I mate him? Probably I'm seeing mate threat. Զևոկով մալատեց հեշտ չի տենց կլասիկ տուրնիրն եմ զևոկ գտնել. Rook c2, and how I said, because my rook in this second rank that will make some trouble, and there is only one move that was in that position, so now he can take the rook, but after I will take his rook, this bishop will be under attack, so I'm gonna be up a bishop, and then this pawn will be hang. Okay, 7 was hang, not a problem, but let's think about position like this when all that pawns are traded and I have only bishop and rook against his rook. That's not easy to play and win that game. Just I need to defend my pawns for that. So he could actually attack on this pawn. Twins Vizev Testa. Chess Komov. Այս ակական չեմ կխաղանք ես պրծնեմ, բայց սրանից հետո մի րոպե պետք է սպասես, այ մի հատ վրաս բանտեմանի ու նոր. Okay, let's take this pawn, b6 is hang, but I will try to use this a pawn. And a1, okay? If I bring my pawn on a2 and check, I can take new one, so he don't need to help me to check. He needs to keep his king on that f4, so at that position I can't check. Or that second rank. Okay, wait a minute, I will return in 1 minute, okay? Sorry for that. Well, I returned. a2, d7 is protected, so I will bring the rook on f3. I should try to take that pawn, or even rook d1. The only way that he can protect, I think rook a6. Okay, now we have new queen, so that's winning. Okay, don't forget to subscribe my channel to not lose any stream. Play with me and get your game explanation. Okay, this pawn is hang. Let's take. Okay, let's take and push this forward. He resigned. He played actually very well. That's why you need to learn endgames, because endgames are the most disturbing when you are trying to win. GG bro, you played very well actually, just some endgame skills you need to learn, you know. Cu normală. Să uğraşkım. Okay, let's send him challenge. He's actually a really good player. Also his bullet is a very high, more than 1200. Well, let's start this game. I'm off to bed, but I subscribe catch you another night. Okay bro, goodbye and good dreams. You played very well. Try to improve your chess. You can be so high rated and good player some other time. Just learn endgames, you know. In this position we can try to play Vienna Gambit, just f4. That's a really hard this Vienna Gambit when you are down 10,000 rating or even 1500. You don't need to play this. That's so tricky, you know. Because you are opening this king side, he can check and take something from you. That's why that's not easy to play. Just one miscalculation and you should lose position like this. We will take the knight. So he's not even doing that. I don't need to open his F file because mine is open, so I will try to trade and open my rook. Let's force him to take the bishop. So at this time, after d3, my bishop on this diagonal will be open. I will create huge attack on there, you know. After these trades, he's gonna lose one of these pawns. I need to take with the rook because knight takes queen b8. My rook isn't protected. I believe I can bring my knight back, just if he don't defend with queen d7 or queen a2, just anyway I can go back. Okay. See, I missed that. Okay, no problem, let's go g5 and force his knight to go back. And g6 or not? Okay, I saw queen d7, but queen b6 was a really good move there. g5, he will take. And what should I do? Probably resign if I go g5. Queen f3 or not? Okay, I'm trying to go g5 and take with my pawn, because if I take with h4 pawn, I can bring my pieces on h file and win like that, okay? That should be lost a pawn, but queen h5 will do his job great. I don't need to trade this, because if his bishop was in g5, after bishop h6, that will block for h file, which I'm trying to use as Bobby Fischer. That's typical Bobby Fischer style when he was trying to open this h file in 90% of his games and take a win, because that's a really hard to defend. You will see after some moves later. Okay, rook h2, and because his queen take the knight on a7, he's deactivating, and how much moves he needs to bring it back in the game? Probably queen a8 should be a really great move, because when you are trying to defend or attack, you need to bring all your forces into the game. Okay, and rook h2. Just because f7 is open, he can try to run, but that's not easy. Just let's calculate, realizing our rook on h2. Okay, really good move. He's forcing to go back. Okay, probably just not problem. King f2 and rook h1 should be moves. That's just not bad at all, but what his queen can do that a1. Just let's calculate if my rook was were an h1, check, f7. Okay, my queen will be under attack after that, okay? But that's not clear. Probably at the time I need to take the knight and rook f7, rook h7 to pressure his g7 pawn or not. Okay, how I said, queen e8 should be great job. I don't need two takes. Just queen h4. And his pieces can't join any closer to defend his position, you know? That's the problem. Subscribe my channel to not lose any stream, and play with me gets your game explanation, okay? That should be helpful if you're even trying to improve your chess skills. If I check, king a7, and what after that? You need to think about that. What can I do? Okay, I checked, but why? What should I get from that? And because you need to see his weakness, like d6 is a main weakness for him, but also my pawns were double, so I would like to open this queen side and attack from it. He's trying c4 check and take this pawn because that's open check. That's why you need to see opponent's moves that he can try to bring some activity over there. If I take, I will open a file. Probably he was trying forcefully to take with c4 pawn. Also c4 check, how I said, could happen. But because this a file is open, that's really helping for me too. Let's check, and if king goes on a7 will be mistake. I will pin this, and if it's go back, just I will force him to go a rank, okay? That's probably because happened for his time pressure. Now my position is really good, so I'm gonna take these pawns. Okay, open check, you saw. Two checks in two moves. Another side he can take. You need to see all that pinned moves. Can I suck the queen? Okay, that should be with a check. Let's not take a risk. King a8. Okay. At d6 check, I'm preparing for probably queen a8. But let's see, can I mate a position like that or not? Queen a8, just I'm forcing him to take, and if it's not, I will take by myself. This check isn't doing anything, but anyway, probably he trying to be a little bit high on time. That's why. Okay, and that's very close position. Not easy to get some advantage from here. Even these checks and anything won't work. Okay, not that move. That's blundered his bishop. Very good played, but anyway. Okay, let's play another game. He played really good if we say about his rating. Just because I'm 1700 higher rated than him. But let's don't forget that I reached 2000 as Blitz and 2200 as Rapid. Just this time I'm not playing that much with higher rated players. Because for my rating, but not a huge problem, you know. I will try d5. So he can take and even not, because knight f3. I don't need to take that pawn. I should be up a pawn, but because his position would be very active at the time, I will lose the pawn for sure. So I will say pieces activated is a more important than when we are up a pawn or his pawns are double. I don't know. If he takes, can I check? Okay, I can't, that's why I need to defend. Bishop a6 to also close this a5 for him. Probably he can bring that one of figures a2, queen a2 for example, and castle rook a1, and that should be really defensive. So the only way that he can make advantage from my bishop on e6, that should be knight g5, try to protect. When I am trying to protect the bishop, he could take at the time, you know? There is still no problem. What if rook c8 to get this c-file? Or I can force him to take, but not much problem. Knight b4, yes, because my knight isn't doing great job there than his bishop, because that's really have nice diagonal on it. And probably he will try to queen d3. He was preparing for that. Bishop back is meaning that what he did in last move. So I am happy to take that. Let's force his bishop to go back, probably bishop a7. And I would like to bring my queen on that queen side. I can't because he will take, that should be open position for me, which I don't like. For me, just for my king. Okay, everything is defended. Let's see forward moves, because with forward moves opponent can try to attack in your position and make some trouble. That's why when you are seeing when you are playing as black close pieces, then 5th rank, you need to kick that pieces. And let's think about what is he trying to do with rook a3. He's trying to double the rooks. Okay, and see this move. Is that bad for you or not? Is that just a normal? Just you need to worry about that or not? That's about that you need to calculate. And because you are comparing your plan with his plan, Okay, he's double not with a rook, but with a queen. No much different there. Just I need to play some moves that will help me. Rook c4, I would like to go that, but knight e5, he will just kick the rook and force me to go back. That's why you need to calculate that things that not lose the move. When you are losing a tempo like that, just you are giving opponent a chance to one extra move, you know? And he can bring the knight on active square and also kick the rook, which I don't like, and I would waste the move there. So you need to see that always that attacking moves, okay? And how I said, my bishop on e6 is doing really protectively job, so his rook can just block this chain and attack. So I'm trying to make some trouble on that p file. So that should be first mistake in this game. What he's doing, b2 is hang. Probably if my rook weren't guarding on that b7, that should be okay. So that should be trade, and if his rook will be on that open b7, just I'm not sure. And he's probably blunders made, or queen f1, that should be just defended, okay? I will say he lost the queen, but no difference. Lose a queen, that means lose when you are a little bit high rated player. Okay, don't forget to subscribe my channel and play with me. I will be happy to play with all of you. That should be also helpful. Well, let's take and then rook a1. Okay, but if I check rook a1, that won't be helpful. Okay, he's trying to offer a draw, no problem. Okay, let's see if he wants rematch or not. Probably not. Okay, let's play another game. I will wait for your challenges. Like I said, I used to be 2000, but I lost 300 elo. I think that's the most harmful thing you can be in that situation like me. That's typical Wagner gambit. I could even take and play d4. Not every black players can play this opening very well. Just because he took now d4 is free, so I can jump and have really good center. Also his pawn on f4 will be in a huge attack, so I'm gonna take that. Էլի խաղանք։ Հա եղավ, այս սպորտսնեմ, մի քիչ սպասեցի, տեսա չելենջ չես ուղարկում, նոր սկսեցի էլի։ Հաջորդին ուղարկի ու խաղանք։ I'm gonna take on f4 and probably a5 to completely open this f5 for my rook. Okay, not a problem, just bishop d3 or not. Or queen d3, because my bishop is active. I need to bring all my pieces on active squares. Okay, I haven't knight h4. I saw that move, but let's don't worry about that. Queen a3, probably rook a1. If he tries to do something in my position, probably rook a8, rook a1, and that shouldn't be open attack. Just we will trade this. And if knight on f6, okay, at this time I can't take, but I'm happy to see he went his knight back, because that was doing really great job on this a4 square. a really huge attack on my position, which as opponent player you don't need to let him do that. Let's bring bishop back because c2, my queen has to defend that c2, okay? And that means get out from that attack. Knight a5 or... When you are trying active pieces for opponent, try to deactivate that. You can just kick that or trade. c7 was hang. Let's take, but if rook c8, probably c5, c5 will be a little bit open for this. He should try to take anything from there. Y plus 0. Okay. Կուղարկես ու կխաղանք եղավ։ Կամ էլ եթե ինչ որ խնդիր կա, ես էլ կամ ուղարկեմ, вообще problem չկա։ He kicked the knight, but knight a5 can be moved, and my figure will be forward here, which I'm happy to see. If he even trade the knight, that should be really good for me, because if bishop on a5, I think even that should be a little bit good. Just because that will hit this pawn on g7. Եղավ կսպասեմ. Rook b1, because this b file is one of the open files that I can bring the rook. So he isn't wants to trade the knights. I don't know why, but anyway. His queen is active, but my rook is active. That's just very normal position. But I believe this position can't be normal. That's will gonna very in a bad position for me or for him. That's very tricky, you know. We both of us has really good attack on attacking, and not much defend their squares. Okay, he went back for defense some squares. Probably he knows that his queenside I'm gonna destroy. I sacrifice the pawn, because how I said pieces activity are the most good that just a pawn there. a7 is hang, and I sacrificed the pawn on a5, and I'm gonna take another pawn there. That because I sacrificed and I weaken his pawn structure there. Because f5 pawn isn't on that and his bishop isn't overprotected, probably c4 and try to get that. His knight on a3, he's trying to do that and take this pawn on c2. Let's protect this, and also if he tries to kick the knight to bring his knight on a3, from f6 will be fork, even if not h5, just that should be fork. He needs to get out from it. Let's see if you can see that, or about time pressure, it should be a little bit hard. Այս առաջի կարգինի մրցումներ դիլի մասնակցելու ես, թե որ երկրորդ ես չես կարա։ How can I make advantage from this position? That's still defended, okay? Can we check? And king on 7th rank. I would like to bring my queen in the game, and he's plundering his queen. So how I said, that was a really tricky position. Armenjan challenge ուղարկեմ ուշադիր. Okay, very well played. Also how I said about time pressure, we will gonna blunder anything, and he blundered that queen. Well, let's play. Armencan uğraşkele. What opening do you recommend to play? I will play Sicilian defense just if you want to see opening. Say about me, I know very much openings I will play. What opening you choose? That should be really interesting to play different openings in different games. Okay, I like this knight c3 move, a knight c6, because after this trade I will have really good center on here. Just bishop before I'm trying to take the knight and damage his queenside pawns. So probably bishop d2 will be only normal move, I will say, after this trade, okay, because the knight would be undefended, and that's typical mistake that very much new players doing. Okay, no problem, let's take the knight first. If he takes the knight, I will take with a bishop. Probably this pawn first, that because that will attack on the rook, and then the another pawn. That would be very crazy. I would be up just 2 pawns, but he sees that position. Queen b6. Okay, what should I do? Let's take with a pawn to open this a file. Probably in the future d6 to open also this bishop there, and d6. Okay, d6 takes and then f6 probably, and if he's not castle, okay, which he did. Can I trap his bishop or not? He goes back, I can't, but at the time he will lose the pawn. Just even bishop c3, d4, he will lose the pawn anyway. But I'm worried about my c5 pawn will be hang. But this even could be really good for me. Okay, I'm gonna trick him. Let's see why you need to learn endgames more than some other. Let's take, and rook c8 how I said. He has to go b4, and I will go a5, make some trouble, because if he moves the bishop, c2 will be hang. Okay, if I take, he will mate me, okay. Let's bring h6, and before only move that, not losing anything, which he plays. If he takes, his bishop will be hang. So a3 can be moved, or c3 even. Why not? Still he can take the pawn. If I see that there is some attacking plans, I will take it and make some advantage from there. He isn't up a pawn, or even I'm not up a pawn. There is a position that I have really much kingside pawns, and he has queenside pawns, okay? I need to attack on kingside. Okay, king g6. Let's not hang anything there. Okay, now that pawn was hang. h4 can be moved. Just I will double his pawns, and that should be very easy to take one of that. He's not even seeing his king side. Because the bishop is protecting, probably he can try to bring the rook on b8. Okay, how I thought. I would like my bishop protect this a8, because somehow he just can't make some progress if my bishop protect a8. And now I think he can. That's very sad news. Just how that's not protecting. Just if there I can't take. Okay, my bishop somehow can't protect it. Just a8, I don't need to take or something else when my bishop will protect. That should be the idea there. Okay, that's a losing position for me, he played very well. So let's send him rematch and see who is winning in this position. Only 6% voted people like bullet. That's not what I expected. Okay, I like classic match when you are playing 2 hours for one game and you need to think about really hard. I like that. Okay, Alien Gambit in the board, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna trade and probably knight a5, why not? Let's check. We are playing Alien Gambit main line. So let's see, can we win or not? Bishop d3. King g8, I think. That should be the best move, or a8, I am thinking about even that. Just let's see, can we win or not? The main line says you need castle and bring the rook. How Alien says. And if he takes the pawn, he will lose his queen. I think that's clear how knight g6 can be moved, my bishop will be protected and his queen will be under attack. Even his rook, but because I sacrificed the knight on f7, there's Alien Gambit on the board, okay? I don't think I need to take the rook, but anyway, I will try my best there. Okay, this is protected. Rook isn't doing anything there, so I don't think I need to take that. The only thing, okay, I was saying about the bishop and he blundered that. And then the queen. That's one move can just lose your position, okay? He played very good the last game because that should be a little bit clear, not like that. This Alien Gambit is a really tricky, and even Stockfish says that when you are sacrificing the knight on f7, you should lose that because that's mistake or blunder. I can't say for 100%, but Stockfish don't like that move. Stockfish can get out from there, but even some grandmasters can't get out from there, you know? Because that's really tricky. And because the idea is that you are working on that light squares. Because how you know white bishop and queen are doing great job with each other, which we can't say about the knight because we are sacrificing one from that f7 and another one we are just knight a5 and trying to trade that. Alien Gambit players will know that for sure. I just played 2 or 3 games in my whole life against Caro-Kann defense when I didn't play Alien Gambit, and all the time just 3 games that I didn't play Alien Gambit, and that games where I played tournament with 2000 rated players, real tournament I mean. That was the only games that I played normal. Rook c8, just c file is open, okay, and even a file, we will gonna open that. So I would like to bring remain pieces there. Bishop d6 also can do great job. I don't care about white square bishop, because all that squares are defended, so I can't bring it even defended position. So even I would be happy if he trade. His knight is getting really cool there. What if knight a5? Knight a4, sorry. because that pawn can go forward on f6 and his knight will be kicked after that. So I'm not sure, but okay, knight a4, that was really tricky. I was going to hang that f7 pawn. Even if I take the knight, he will take from that pawn and even rook will be open. So let's not blunder anything there. Let's try to take that. I will take with a queen because he's trying to take e5 with his pawn on f4, but I don't let him do that. Okay, we can't lose a pawn there. I mean, his bishop is under attack. How can he take? Okay, he took, he's defending, but probably I have attack on the knight and take his bishop, but how? Okay, let's don't worry about that. Like, my rook on c2 will do great job here. That's defending on this line, and I wish I bring another rook in that second rank. Because I'm forcing his rooks to go that very bad squares. That's why you need to bring it out on second rank. So rook a2 and rook c2, I will try to take this pawn on g2, which should be a little bit hard for defense. And I don't need even to take. Because anyway, if I take, my rook will be on second rank, but if I trade just because I sacrificed the pawn, that should be trade, and I don't like that, okay, when I trade two rooks. Because my rook is doing great job here, which I can't say about his rook, which is only protecting my rook attack. So it can't be that much good than my rook. So knight a6. Okay, my rook is a little bit closed, but I believe there is just he can't do anything bad for it. So I won't lose that, right? Because some good players are in a really hard positions can trap the rook. Okay, I returned my pawn because my position was active there. What if bishop a3? Bishop a3 check, okay. Okay, he's trying to mate me one more time, how he did our last game. Okay, his pawn will be difficult to defend, but anyway, let's try to do that. d8 is still defended. Can I sacrifice the bishop or not? Or even I think I have to. But besides there, I will take these kingside pawns. Even another pawn here. My position isn't that bad in that game. That should be at least draw because I have 3 pawns against his knight. And if I trade that 2 pawns, that should be a drawn position even according from the computer. But he missed because his time was a little bit low. Rook a7, okay. I expected that. And that should be a little bit easier to win because his king is cut off from that pawn. And if I let him bring his king near, that even can be pawnless for me. Okay, he's trying to trade, no problem. I will do that and make a new queen. Well, let's play one more game with him. That's locked or not? Well, let's play a4 this time and see how he can respond. If a5, probably we can play Vienna Gambit one more time. We will see. Okay, we have French defense. I can try to play Alien Gambit like French defense. That's happening, you know? Because French defense is a really close to be Aragon defense. Like instead of c6, a6, and even these moves can happen there. Don't forget to subscribe my channel to not lose any stream from me, and play in the next stream, or even if you want now, okay? Let's see what he will gonna play. Okay, he's spending so much time, probably disconnected or something else, I'm not sure. Okay, let's end this stream. Thank you all. Just I'm a little bit hurry. Sorry about that. Let's end this stream and I will see you in my next stream. Goodbye. Stay with me and play with me.